So today I'm going to do a little bit of a build breakdown on my turbo Civic. So in the last video I did a little quick one of the drift wagon and the plans with that. So we'll get started on this one. This is my 1997 EK Civic with a 1.6 litre D16 non-VTEC single cam motor. I've had this car for probably almost 4 years, I'd say. It's gone through a lot of changes, was my daily driver, and decided I've always wanted it to be turbo, and here we are. So this thing's got some, extensive stuff done to it to get it to where it is, but it's all been DIY and on somewhat of a budget. So I'll go over a couple of different things to look out for, things to do, and the plans with it. But pretty much it's almost finished, this car. It just needs now a road tune, which I'm just waiting to do, and a couple of tweaks here and there. Otherwise, she's good to go. We'll start with the engine. We have stock D16Y4, the D15 B7 Dizzy, which is one of the higher igniting ones. A VTEC intake manifold for more air. eBay intercooler kit that has been, the grill's been cut out. The pipes had to be cut and bead rolled to fit because they don't fit too well, but I've done best with what I can to run the turbo kit this way. The bumper's not on properly at the moment, it's just kind of sitting there. Intercooler kit's all plumbed in. Couple things to do, I just got to get like a little trim piece for around here so we don't rub through the hose. Manifold, eBay turbo ram horn manifold. One thing I do regret with this system is I wanted to go internal gate because I thought it'd be easier. It's not. It's definitely not easier. I wish I just ran an external gate and plumbed a pipe in. We have an eBay turbo. Hell know what size it is. I don't have any clue, but probably too big for this application, to be honest, for a stock motor. In there we have the internal wastegate on a custom welded bracket because they're actually meant to be over this side. So that sucked to do, but it's in there now. You can kind of see it. There she is, all plumbed in. Custom welded 2.5 inch dump pipe. Now I can't weld, but I was pretty happy with how this came out. It clears just. There's not much room in these engine bays without running, unless you run a stock radiator. Obviously aircon delete. I've got to relocate my oil feed. And the oil drain is down there into the sump as well. So I'm able to keep my washer bottle, which is just tucked up under here. You can see there's the pipe. Lots of scratching and crap on it, but it doesn't really sit too much lower than the bumper. Unlike my exhaust, which was really hard to do because it is front wheel drive, it has to go under the sump, but because it's so much bigger it hangs a lot. It's touching the sump, but you know, got to do what you got to do. Also, to get this running, we've got an aftermarket fuel pump, a bit bigger. I can't remember off the top of my head the size. I think we're looking at 255 litre per hour, I think, from memory, with 731cc Bosch injectors, in case I want to go ethanol setup. So I can pump a bit more fuel. I'm definitely not going to use 731cc's for this motor. Obviously there's a couple of other bits and bobs, like we've got the catch can system in there. Otherwise, that's your motor. Not much else to it. It just needs the tune. It's got a little base tune on it at the moment just so it can run with the injectors. It does have a aftermarket loom for the different plugs. Obviously on the inside it's a bit filthy at the moment, to be completely honest, but the inside's completely stock. I've rebuilt these door cards because if you have a Civic or have ever been in one, you know that these are completely gone, so they're rebuilt. I have a little cluster surround off a guy called Mr. Body Kits in Brisbane. Awesome little thing, doesn't take up too much space. If it would focus, it would be nice. With an EK4 cluster, so we've got my boost gauge, we've got an AFR gauge because you want a wideband gauge for this. Trust me, this is a lifesaver. Short shifter, EK4 cup holders, because you can't even see properly with the bloody light in here, but because why not? For the ECU, what we've done is a stock ECU, a P2K ECU, the code is a P2000 ECU, with an aftermarket chip, as you can see there. So what that chip allows me to do is become standalone within an extent. I still have to meet certain parameters. I can't do everything under the sun, but it allows me to tune the whole car because these come factory with a locked ECU, so you ain't tuning nothing. It also allows me to open boost programs, so my map sensor can read over 11 psi. So my map sensor can read to 11 psi in positive pressure, where your normal ECU will not read any positive pressure. So that's a bonus. It is a job. Everyone says it's easy to turbo swap. It is if you know what you're doing. This was a full learning experience for me. I took the motor out, I did the clutch. I learnt a lot. I wish I did film it all because that would have been something cool to watch, but I am very keen to get this thing running, and I will be posting how I tune it and what I do to tune it. So that will all be in a video anyway. For the rest of the car, we're running BC Gold coilovers all round with replica raised wheels, which I got for a dealer marketplace. They were spray can black though, so it's been a mission restoring them, but these are a 15x8 plus 25 with 205/45 Falcon tires on them. They look pretty good. You can still see some of the black on it. I've got to get off, but we've got Type R replica wing, Type R lip, and Type R lip. We've got the sticker spine from our website and a big old P-plate spec sub in the back with a fake wood floor. So that's a quick walk around of the Civic. There's actually not much really special about it. This car has been the most reliable car, the most fun car I've ever driven. If you've never driven a Civic, get a naturally aspirated one. I'm a little bit worried I'm never going to enjoy this car like I used to because it's now turbo. This car, 3 years, I beat on it, I thrashed it, I've done everything I could imagine, mountain runs, just flogging this thing, and it loves it every single day of the week. Most reliable car. It's never ever broken on me. Obviously general maintenance and servicing, like I've done drive shafts because they got old and you know you got to change oil, but I've never been stranded anywhere in this car. It's the most, and it is so much fun. They handle amazing. They're so much fun. Anyone that says they're slow, yeah, they are slow, but you always have a smile on your face. They're such good cars. I love them so much. So definitely, even if your friend's got one or you know someone with one and they're happy to let you have a drive, trust me, these are going up in price. This car was $1,000 when I bought it. With coilovers, it's got Integra rear brake setup, so it's actually got disc brakes all round, not just drums in the rear. It had extractors, it had a full sound system. It was only $1,000. Now, you won't buy them like that. A manual EK Civic, you're looking at like $6,000 plus now. So, which is a bit unfortunate to be honest. I probably wouldn't say they're worth $6,000. That's just me, but things I want to do very soon on this car. Number one, obviously being the absolute dog shit paint. The paint's always been bad on this car ever since I've owned it. It never fazed me. I've popped the bonnet down now that we're done with the engine, so yeah, you can see like the bonnet's spray canned and all falling off. The roof is gone to shit. All the clear coat's come off. Scratches and dents, and it's gone through 4 sets of door handles, and you can just see it's had a rough time. Like that's primer. It's faded that much. And I never even painted the wing. The wing is unpainted, which I'm okay with. Look, this car, like I said, I bought it for a daily, which turned just to a fun car, and now it's a project. I want to learn how to paint with this car. Pretty much, this car's been my test dummy for everything for my Silvia, purely because I don't want to mess something up, because that's a lot more expensive to break stuff than it is at Honda. So I will be practicing and learning how to paint with this. So that will be coming pretty soon. What we're doing is I'm doing a full Type R conversion. I love the Type Rs in the pre-facelift model. I think they look the best out of all of them. It's just pretty much moldless front and rear bars. Get rid of these crappy plastic molds. I managed to score a EJ8 bumper, which is a coupe bumper, which is the same as the Type R. No molds, fits perfectly. I've already cut the grill out and I actually practiced priming with a gun. First time I was spraying with a gun. Definitely got some imperfections, definitely need to work on it a bit. But it came out okay, I'm pretty happy with it. So it will be getting sanded down and re-primed. And I've got a facelift rear bar, which is just a moldless rear bar, they interchange. That's got to get sanded back, and it's got to have a dent fixed on it, and then that's good to go on too. Then it'll be pretty much full sand back. This will be getting removed, a plate welded in, and body filled, all the dents. This rear quarter here has this big ass line and ripples through it from when I bought it. It's always been like that. I'm going to try and get most of them out myself, which I'll obviously film all anyway, and that should be good. And a rear wiper delete, because these things suck and they never work. So it'll be getting a proper one with plate welded in and gone, because they suck and they're shit. They don't work, and they just look ugly. So that's in terms of paint. Another thing I've got to do is a new exhaust for the rear. It's currently got a muffler with some horrid welds on it because I just needed something. And I've got no light to show you, but yeah, it's getting the muffler's going because it's too restricting for the turbo, and it will just be an exhaust like that. It'll look the same, just a bit louder. It's got hard race camber arms as well, and you probably just saw the brace bar and control arms. For the most part, that is my Civic. It's nothing crazy special. I will go show you a couple of parts I have ready to install on it. But other than that, that's kind of it. I want to make a dose pipe for it, but you saw the engine bay. There's not a lot of room, so I just want to get it running first. But a nice dose pipe would be pretty cool, but I've got to come up with something. I'm going to be learning how to TIG weld, so that'll make it a hell of a lot easier to make an intake. But until then, what I've got will do. It's got a filter on it, and I'm impressed I could find one that would fit. So I'll show you the parts first. I'll turn it on. It's quiet as shit with that muffler and the turbo. It does have launch control. It's running a bit rough because it's only on a base tune at the moment. I'll hit launch control because why not? It sounds like shit anyway. So let's go check some parts out. So we come over into a little goodie section I've got over here of parts for a couple of parts here and there for certain cars. You can see Sylvia's stuff, which we'll get to in the next video. I just came inside after filming this video, which now will be in the middle of the video. Heat wrap is here. It's this small little gold reflective shit. Don't know if it's going to work, but it's here now. So I made my own Type R replica headlights, and they've all gone to shit because it's been so long. But pretty much, they're actually, Type R headlights have like this gunmetal style grey housing. And Type R headlights cost way too much, so I went, I'm going to make my own. I pulled it all apart. I painted these housings. They're a bit dirty, so hard to tell. They're like, I think they look pretty good. They're like a little shiny gunmetal, nothing too crazy. They'll go in, because just to match the whole Type R look. I do have some gaskets in here that I didn't end up using with it, but if I start getting leaks, which I think I'm already getting exhaust leaks, I will be putting them in because they're going to need it. And I got these two. These are drop tie rods by Hard Race for a Civic. So I got these actually a long time ago. I got them with my BC coilovers, and the day before all this stuff arrived, I got yellow stickered like the Subi, and this got put on a tow truck for too low and all this other stuff. It was a bunch of bullshit. The cop, I tried talking to him, he didn't really know. Tried fighting, it didn't work. Anyway, I just came inside after filming this video, which now will be in the middle of the video, and it's been pulled over and inspected, and everything's small little gold reflective. I had to go to the police station. Don't know if it's going to work. Anyway, but it's here now. So I never put these in. There you go. Now, if you have a Civic that's low, pretty soon, you'll know that your drive shaft, your steering arm, sorry, not your drive shaft, your steering arm, when you get to a certain height, which is getting pretty close to now, it was a bit lower than this, actually smashes on the chassis. What they do is they drop under the knuckle to drop your steering arm. So one, you don't get bad bump steer like what you'd get in Sylvias, etc. when you're driving. And two, you don't absolutely destroy your thing. I've had them for a year. I've never put them in. I should put them in because I do plan on making this a little bit of a show car at some point, as it's not going to be on the road as much. And other than that, I need to get new control arms for the front so I can add camber, because I've got the rear camber arms. That's all stuff for the Subi. So there's the new gauges. That's the steering wheel that will be going in it. Some quick release bumper parts. I've got some heat tape coming for this. Because the exhaust manifold's so close to the bonnet, it's going to melt the paint. And I don't want to melt the paint job I just painted. So I'm hoping it works. It can withhold 500 degrees before temperature goes through it. So I'm hoping that should be enough to hold the temperature back from melting all the paint. It should be. We will find out though. We're going to test it on this shit paint anyway, so we'll see if If that doesn't bubble, then we're good, because that's $2 spray paint. I'm going to turn it on now. I'll show you what it sounds like, even though you can barely hear it. It is running a little rough, but I did say it was pretty quiet, and it's pretty quiet it's because of the muffler on it, and now it's got turbo. It used to be a lot louder without turbo, but yeah, this will be going. It'll be nice and loud again. It's pretty bloody smoky. I probably should have warmed it up, but it's a Honda, so it loves it. It'll be right. It was only a quick little rev to 4K, it's alright. Lot of smoke though. Probably shouldn't have done that. So that is the build breakdown on my 97 Turbo Civic. Not much to it really, pretty simple little build with lots of plans in place. I'm not very good at outros, but if you do want to follow along for it, please subscribe, along with the Subi wagon drift build and the Sylvia, which will be in the next video. So if you want to see all of that, please subscribe, check out the channel, and we'll see you soon.